Hi guys, and welcome to another Wednesday at 1 weekly live in the PTA PTO Superstar Leaders Group. I am Christina Heideck. I am your leader here in this group, and I am so excited to be back for yet another another weekly video. And as soon as I started, or right before I started recording this video, of course, my neighbor started doing lawn work. So I've closed the door, but I can still hear it. So I hope it's not too bad on your end. But today we are going to be talking about how to be just like a super kick butt, super strong PTO leader without losing your mind. And maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but there are certainly times in the past when I have felt like this. And I feel like a lot of times people in the group are expressing like being overwhelmed and it all being too much, and leading a PTO is sometimes challenging, but it shouldn't be challenging all the time. And so I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks on how to do that so that you are enjoying the process, because this should be the majority of your time that you're a PTO leader and volunteer should be enjoyable. If it's not, there's some things that you need to change. So we'll get into that in a little bit. First of all, I wanted to welcome anybody who's here. So if you want to go ahead and type your name in so I can say hi to you, that would be awesome. If you're new here, let me know that you're new. If you've watched a video before and you're back again, let me know that too. That is all great, and it helps me feel like I'm just not talking to a little light in my camera in my laptop. So let me know you're here. We have had a lot of members join in the last couple weeks, so I just want to go over some like rules of the group, and I'll reiterate these in a separate post. But y'all know that there's no spam allowed in the group or links, and I know that they're not one and the same, but I pretty much want you guys to be using your own knowledge and not linking to outside companies. So just for the most part, everyone's doing that. There's just a couple outliers, so keep on rocking it and following that rule. And then secondly, I posted about this, I think yesterday or maybe the day before. I think yesterday, because today's only Wednesday. But I spent a whole heck of a lot of time on Monday kind of like figuring out what I want to share with you this next year. And so I actually planned out 48 separate Facebook Live videos and about the same blog posts. So, and they're not all on the same thing. So it's going to be a whole lot of new information coming at you so that you can run your group better, because that's the entire point of this group. That's the entire point of my of PTO Answers. That's why I'm doing this. I mean, if you could get this information somewhere else, you wouldn't be here. And so I feel like there's still more information that I need to cover so that you have exactly what you need. So I'm excited to start bringing that to you starting right now, actually, because this is the very first live with a brand new topic that I came up with the other day. So everything pretty much is based on questions that I've seen in the group or things that someone's question has prompted me to think about. And I thought, gosh, that would make like a really awesome topic to explore so that, again, you have the information you need to run your group. That is the whole point of this. If I was just serving up fluff, there'd be no point. I don't have time for fluff, and neither do you. So anyway, all right. So with that being said, let's dive into this. So my kids are now in 7th and 4th grade, and today is actually the last day of school, so it's going to be 8th and 5th, which is like so crazy to me. But I remember when I was a brand new PTO volunteer, especially when I was president. So that would have been my oldest son's first year in I always say that wrong. When he was back in 1st grade, he's never repeated the grade, but anyway. So when he was in 1st grade, I was president. That was my first year as president. And I remember there were some nights when I was so busy at school, I would come home and just be like totally done, like totally cooked, stick a fork in me. All I could do was like kind of veg out on the couch. And that wasn't like a particularly good feeling. I enjoyed being busy, but it's I really felt like my life was out of balance because I was doing so much for school and that I wasn't, um, the home life kind of wasn't where I wanted it to be. So as a PTO leader, it's really, really, really tempting to give your all at school, but then you need to reserve some or come up with a game plan so that you're not totally feeling like a louse when you get home, because that's certainly how I was feeling so much of the time. So one way to avoid this issue is to totally plan things out, like way in advance, and maybe even more in advance than what you think you should be doing. And when I say plan things, I mean plan everything. So you should be planning what's going on with your PTO. You should be in your role, whatever role that may be. If you are a box top coordinator, honey, you need to know when you're going to fit in time to cut all of those box tops and to package them up and send them off in time for the submission deadline. So there has to be a plan. That's not something you can do last minute unless you want to be staying up till midnight and then hurrying your tush to the post office, which I don't think that doesn't sound any fun to me. So don't do that. The other thing you need to plan is like plan what's going on at home. And I've not had the pleasure of meeting the vast majority of you in person, but when I get hungry, I kind of get really cranky. Like it's beyond hangry. And so I need to plan my meals accordingly. And then as long as I'm fed on a regular schedule, then everything seems to go well. And when I think back to my early years as a PTO leader, I wasn't taking care of myself in that way. So I was hangry a lot. And that is not a good place to be in because it just didn't feel good. So make sure that you're also planning your meals. And that sounds like so basic, but sometimes you just really need this basic reminder that like, hey, take care of yourself first, because nobody else is going to do it. They might for a day, like your mom might take pity upon you and send you Uber Eats or something. But like for the most time, you're an adult, so you have to take care of yourself first. It's kind of like putting on your oxygen mask first so that you can help other people, to use the old airline safety information. So what are the ways that you can plan? Well, I have made a fantastic planner for more than just one. Excuse the dog, he heard something. Anyway, always lovely during a live video so that it's totally unscripted, or else I would not have the dog barking randomly. But anyway, I was saying, that I have the President's Planner in my shop, and also the Treasurer's Planner. And the President's Planner, while it is called the President's Planner, I really just wanted to present it that way, because usually the president tends to be the more organized person of the group, or one of the more organized people in the group, and so they can get all of the resources and then distribute them to the other members. But there's certainly organizational forms and materials for pretty much every office in the President's Planner. So if your group doesn't have it, if you don't have that resource, I would highly suggest you check it out. So the quick link to get to that planner is bit.ly/President's Planner. So it'll take you right to the planner in my shop, and you can check that out. And the main purpose of using any planner, whether it's the President's Planner or not, it's basically to know what you're doing and when you're doing it. So, and it also helps you figure out what you need so that you can actually do it when you have scheduled the time to do it. When it's like super busy, like especially at the end of the year, like it is right now for me and everybody else, I'm assuming too, that you're all getting out in the next 3 weeks or so. I would actually like divide up my day. I pull out my planner, and then I say, okay, when am I going to walk the dog? And when am I going to go grocery shopping this week? And when am I going to clean the house? And when am I going to do laundry so that we have clothes to wear? Like all of those necessities. And then you build in the extra stuff, which is when am I going to take teacher gifts in? if you're not sending them with your kids, which I can only send a couple with my kids each day, and I had to take in the rest. So I got that done on Monday. But I really plan that time in, and having a planner is super helpful for that because you can lay it all out and literally see your time, which sometimes isn't fun as an adult because you just want to like live vicariously and like go to Target when you want to go to Target and go to Costco whenever you feel like it. But sometimes on really busy days, it totally helps to have that completely planned out. Not fun, but you get everything done. You feel like amazing. So it can really save your sanity. The other thing that you need to do in order to be like a strong leader where everything is not falling on you is to over communicate. Like, I know I've said this before, but people are so busy, and even super involved volunteers might have missed the memo or might have missed the email. Maybe they didn't get to the email to open it to know what's going on. So over communicate your needs, like over communicate the fact that you need 5 volunteers for a field day for, every class or whatever it is. Make sure that that's kind of everywhere so that people have that information and can help you. So the other mistake that so many volunteers make, and leaders actually make, is that they try and do everything themselves. And part of that is because they wait to the last minute to figure out exactly what they're going to be doing. And then some people kind of feel bad about asking for help at that point. But don't feel bad. If people can pitch in, then they can pitch in. I mentioned that I went into school on Monday to drop off teacher gifts, and one of the secretaries was like, "Hey, are you gonna see you tomorrow?" And I was like, "What's tomorrow?" And she goes, "Field day. I thought PTA was helping out with field day." And I was like, "This is the first I'm hearing about that you need volunteers." And oh yeah, I can shuffle my schedule to get there, but it kind of caught me off guard. So the school had not done a very good job of communicating with the PTA. We're a very small PTA at that school, so that kind of threw me for a loop. So I guess that's more of an example of the fact that they didn't over communicate. But then as far as delegating, just don't be afraid to ask for help. Asking for help is totally the way to go because you can empower others to step up, and then also let people know that the job can be broken into several smaller different parts that people can handle independently, and that it doesn't all have to fall on one person. So as president, yeah, you are in charge of the entire PTO, but it doesn't mean you have to do everything. Like, your job is just to make sure everything's running smoothly. So yeah, just don't be afraid to delegate and get some help on that. And my last tip is for like how to be an awesome leader without losing your mind is to realize that pretty much nothing is set in stone. Just because things have been done a certain way always doesn't mean it needs to continue. Schools evolve, needs evolve, kids evolve, families evolve. And so the PTA and PTOs need to evolve accordingly so that the PTO is really meeting the needs of all of its volunteers and leaders. So if something just seems to be too much and you can't get to it, like I always use the example of, if you're planning the staff appreciation luncheon and you don't have time to add like custom labels to the water bottles, like it'll totally be fine. Like, but it's so true. And that's something that I do all the time. Like, I was in charge of staff appreciation for 2 schools this year. And I have to admit, I was like in awe of all of the wonderful themes and decorations that I saw people posting pictures of in the group. And I was like, oh my gosh, I so can't show them my pitiful decoration, which was like a banner that I used years ago, but it's a chalkboard banner. And then I just blew up some balloons and just did that. And then I had some crepe paper. And so I just made like crepe paper decorations. I twisted it and stapled them on a bulletin board. And that was kind of it, folks, because that's all I had time for. And the teachers, you know what? I got stopped in the hallway and they were like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. Like, thank you so much for taking the time to do this for us. So it was okay. So don't feel like you need to go above and beyond all the time. I go above and beyond a lot, but legit, like not every time. So that's why I did not share the pictures with y'all. Maybe if someone like begs me, I will, because it was cute, but it just wasn't like, totally didn't have a theme. It was just like black and white and yellow, because that's what I had on hand, like literally in my own party supply bucket. So, but they loved it. And guess what? I'm totally repeating that tomorrow for the staff appreciation luncheon that I'm in charge of tomorrow. So anyway, I hope this has been really helpful for you, and just to kind of like come full circle, because I see a couple more people have joined us than were on at the beginning. How you can like be a really successful leader without losing your mind is to plan everything in your entire life. I'm a big proponent of planning. When my life gets off track, it's probably because I didn't know what I was doing or when I was doing it. And over communicate your needs, over communicate with people, and delegate, and finally be nice to yourself and cut yourself some slack every once in a while. So because you don't have to kill it every single time on every single thing. People will still love you. They will still appreciate what you're doing for the school and the students and the staff, and they will still love you. So with that, I will leave you. I have the links that I mentioned earlier in the live. I've put them all in the comments. I've been all organized like that. So go check out the presence planner. And I didn't mention this one, so I will say the other resource that I have that's free that will help you be a really awesome leader and have so many tools right at your fingertips is the toolkit that I have. So you can grab that for free at bit.ly/PTO tools. So go and download that now. So I'm going to leave you. Next week, I am talking about something I don't remember, but it's an awesome topic. I think it's about leadership again. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember. I forgot to write that down. Now I totally don't remember. So you'll have to excuse me. So anyway, have a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.